Hey everybody, so this video is going to be a what are my feeding tube essentials video. So I have a J tube or a duodestomy tube, and to show you, that is just a tube that goes straight into my abdomen, into my small intestine, my jejunum, so it doesn't go into my stomach like some other feeding tubes do. It just goes into my small intestines because my problem is that I can't keep food down, and my gastroenterologist, who's in charge of my care, felt that it would be better to have a tube that bypassed my stomach and went straight into my small intestines. So it is absolutely fantastic for if I am in a flare-up of my medical condition that causes me to require a feeding tube, because it means that I can give medication straight into my small intestines and it reduces the amount that I need to be in hospital, which is absolutely fantastic. So my first feeding tube essential is backpacks to carry around your feed or your fluids in, particularly if you are on continuous feeds or feeds that run throughout the day. So my feeds run roughly over 20 hours. Sometimes it's less, sometimes more. It just kind of depends on how upset my stomach is feeling that day, or how upset my digestive tract is feeling that day, because sometimes my amount of feed has to change just to kind of accommodate for the symptoms that I'm experiencing. So I have three that I absolutely love. So these are by a company called Vibration, and they're really good. They're relatively expensive for a backpack, but they're really sturdy and they're really good quality. And what I like about them is that they have this hole in them, so it means that your line, your tubing, can come out of the hole rather than needing to come out of a space in between the zippers. So I have this one, I have this one, and I also have this one. So this one and the first one are relatively similar. So the next thing I have is this, which is my mortar and pestle. So this is just to crush my tablets, and I also have this, which is my pill crusher, which is absolutely great for taking out and about with me and traveling with. So I don't need to carry this because this is relatively heavy. So these are just because all my medications go through my tube. I don't take medications orally, so this is to make life a lot easier than using 2 spoons or making the medication dissolve in water. The next thing is saline. So I have 2 types. I have this, which is a bottle that you spray onto gauze, and I also have these, which are just little sachets of saline, and this is just good for cleaning around the area, cleaning around the tube. So that's what I use that for. And the next thing is gauze. So this is just non-woven swabs, and this is just what I use with the saline. The next thing is spare ends for my tube. So my tube is 2 seconds. It's an AMT tube. So that's just the type of tube that I have, and this is just the end for it. So I have a few different spare ends for if the ends become clogged, or if the clamp breaks, or if the little bit that's attached to the end, basically the end that goes over the end, if that were to break. So this is just handy to have. The next thing I have is some Tegaderm. So this is just a clear dressing that I can put over my stoma, my feeding tube stoma, for if I have particularly a lot of drainage that day. So it kind of means that it's not going to go anywhere. And similarly to that, I also have these, which are called Tubey pads, and they're little, what's the word I'm looking for? They're little pieces of material that you just put around your tube, like this, and it just collects any drainage or any kind of anything like that. So it prevents it from going onto your clothes, and also it's great for preventing something called granulation tissue, which can be really quite painful, and it's kind of like overgrowth of your skin as your skin tries to heal. The next thing I have is another dressing, and it is called Duoderm. And what I do sometimes, if my stoma is particularly painful, I cut it into strips and just tape up my tube, so it means that I'm less likely to pull on my tube and it's less likely to cause any issues. On the front of pulling on my tube, I have these. These are tubey clips, and I have one on at the moment. So basically they clip onto your clothes and they hold your tubing up, and that just prevents you from pulling on your tubing, and it can be a lifesaver so you don't trip over your tubing. The next thing I have is this, which is hydrocortisone cream. And this is what I use if I get granulation tissue, and it's just a cream that you put around your feeding tube stoma, and it helps the granulation tissue heal, and it helps if you have a painful feeding tube stoma. So that is everything that is in my feeding tube essentials video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!